tries to instill in your mind a doubt, pessimism. Why? Oh, this is a frog. I don't know how much you know about frogs. I'll tell you that a frog can see a mosquito only if it moves across the area of its vision. If a mosquito quietly sits on a grass blade, the frog doesn't notice it. That's the attitude of American media. They do not notice problem unless it moves, and moves close to Hilton where they station. These are the people who may file a suit against me if I call them liars, but that's exactly what they are. They've been lying to you for years and years about the situation in Vietnam, in Russia. They were selling commercials, deodorizers and cars, and they sold you a rotten information, disinformation of what happens in the world. They have a vision of frog, but they look like semi-gods to you. And if I challenge their credibility, probably the people will call me a paranoid or a very nasty person. I may be a nasty person, but that's my opinion. I was a person who used to take these people for a ride when I was working for the Soviet side. Okay, if you don't believe me, here, one of the most conservative newspapers, in this particular case it's a Canadian newspaper, the Globe and Mail, editorial page. Nothing special, right? The malaise of liberal democracies. Saving Bhutto, former president of Pakistan, called priority. And then there is another article on the right here. U.S. out to dominate Pacific, Russians claim. Well, obviously somebody's opinion, right? Nothing unusual for an average reader. Russians claim that United States out to dominate Pacific. The idea is that, well, United States is obviously aggressive and they want to dominate something and Russians are unhappy about it. Somebody says. You read an article and probably you may agree or disagree, but you have a feeling, the message of urgency. The nasty Americans again out to dominate Pacific. Now look who is the author. Alexander Malishkin, Novosti Press Agency. Not a word. Who is Malishkin and what is Novosti Press Agency? An average reader will accept this article as a legitimate, overt expression of an ordinary journalist. It is not an opinion. It's a fabrication by an extension of KGB. Novosti Press Agency is an organization for which I worked for 12 years. This is highest example of dishonesty and disinformation. Just one line more would explain to an average reader what is that he is reading. But alas, there is no explanation. Now this is the monument to Mother Russia in former Stalingrad. Now it is Volgograd. The statue is designed to instill feeling of patriotism and I don't know what else. Pride maybe for the motherland. These are the pictures of construction, high-rise apartments in Moscow, glorious achievement of Soviet technology, caviar as an average staple food of Russians. These are the minks and furs that Soviet citizens wear. You know, that's how they look when they relax. Fat, nice ladies, you know. You think it's Soviet propaganda? No, comrades. This is also some fashions, latest fashions from Russia, right from Kremlin, for an average Soviet housewife. Well, obviously, it doesn't take much intelligence to understand that this is not quite true. And obviously, it has something to do with the Soviet propaganda. The myths and the realities of the KGB, you see, you don't see the From Stalin to Kosygin, The Myth and the Realities, by Avril Harriman, a former ambassador of the United States to USSR. Very complimenting article to the Soviet system. And this is where it comes from. You thought it was from a Soviet magazine, right? No, it's from Look magazine. An American magazine which published that crap. If you don't believe me, I'll tell you that I was a person who accompanied a group of journalists from Look magazine when they came to Moscow on invitation from Novosti Press Agency. I made them to publish that thing, for which I was awarded, I received the bonus, a free ticket to Italy for a week. Now, this has looked like sheer high-class idiocy, but unfortunately, this is exactly what happened. It didn't took me much effort to convince the Americans, to tell the American journalists from Look magazine, to bring back this magazine, to dedicate the whole issue to the glorious anniversary of Soviet Revolution. This is what you were reading in your American magazine. This is how an average American perceived the Soviet way of life. A happy Soviet citizens. This is what an average girl in Russia wears. This is what they eat and drink. This is how they build their apartment houses. And this is how they're fiercely patriotic. Amazing. Anyway, so I will explain you how it all happens. The last two pictures I will not comment. I want you simply to look close into these eyes. This is the person who wants to liberate you. Wanted, at least. Not anymore. He is dead. But there are many other people with the same type of eyes. If I were a deeply religious person, my answer to that picture would be, these are the eyes of a Satan. He is. Nice fellow, right? United Nations celebrated back in 1969, I think, the 100th anniversary of his birthday. The greatest leader of mankind. God forbid us to have leaders like that. Well, that's all. For that.